Welcome to BioWise with Achal. Now let us discuss ICSE 2025 examination specimen question paper given by ICSE board. So let us see that how much is your practice and preparation for the exam. Before that, like and share to the one who needs it and subscribe if you have not subscribed the channel yet. So let us proceed with the paper. Keep writing the answer with the question number. So I'll also come to know that whether you are going with me or not. Okay. So this is how your paper will look like. We have already done all these things before. Now, first one. Choose the correct answer to the question from the given option. Do not copy the question. Write the correct answers only. Now, children, please write the correct answer when you have to write in your board examination. Okay. So now the loop of Henle lies in. Now you tell me, where does the loop of Henle lies? Renal cortex, renal medulla, renal pelvis, renal artery. Now you know that cortex is dotted in appearance because of the presence of what? Because of the presence of the glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, PCT, DCT, and the medulla is fibrous in appearance because of the presence of loop of Henle collecting duct. So here the answer will be renal medulla. Okay. Moving to the next question. The antiseptic present in tears. Lysozyme. Chances are there that you get confused with lysosome. Lysosome is an organelle. Suicidal bag, I hope you remember. The fetus respires but do not breathe. Is this correct? Yeah, it's true. The maternal blood supplies oxygen to the fetus through placenta. So both the statements are true here. And here R is the correct explanation of A. Okay. During the ventricular systole, that is when the heart contracts, the ventricular systole, the atrioventricular valve P and the semilunar valve. So what happens during ventricular systole? That is, the blood is pumping the blood into the aorta and the pulmonary artery. That time the semilunar valve should be open and the atrioventricular valve should be closed. So P closes and Q open. P closes and Q open. This is the right answer. Very good. The two cerebral hemispheres are joined by a sheet of fiber called, what is that fibrous hard substance present between the two hemisphere which controls or coordinates the two between the two hemisphere? That is corpus callosum. I hope you know all the other terms. Pons is present in the brain stem, right? Corpus luteum is not there in the brain, it is in the ovary. That is after the Graafian follicle has released the ovum, and hypothalamus is below the thalamus, below the corpus callosum. The onset of menstruation in the human female is called onset, means start. So it is menarche. Next one. Rods and cones are photoreceptors in the sclera of the eyeball. Is it true? It is present in the sclera or it is present in the retina. So the statement is false. Rods are sensitive to dim light. This is correct. So A is false and R is true. Next one. Priya tried to match the hormones with the effect on the human body. She tabulated the pair as follows. P stimulates the conversion of glycogen to glucose. Okay, it is increasing the level of glucose. Okay, so it is what? It's a glucagon. And Q is reabsorption of water by the nephrons. Reabsorption of water is by the ADH or vasopressin. So here which option is right? Glucagon and ADH is not there. Glucagon is here and vasopressin, that is another name of ADH, is given here. Okay, so this is the right answer. Moving to the next. While studying the stages in evolution of man, a well-developed chin. C for chin, C for Cro-Magnon man. And if Cro-Magnon man is not given here, the answer should be Homo sapiens. Okay, because Homo sapiens have the well-developed chin was first seen in Cro-Magnon man. Okay, and then it was finally found in Homo sapiens. Next one, a pair of corresponding chromosomes of the same shape, size, and one from each parent is called I've already given all these definitions, children. So you must be aware what I'm talking about. It is homologous chromosomes. Okay? The entire video on the definitions is already uploaded. 200 definitions, 45 abbreviations, 90. Now already the 200 definitions, 90 structure, location and functions, 45 abbreviations, 100 MCQs, all these videos are already there in my channel. You can go for it, okay? It will surely help in the last moment revision for the subject and also to judge that how much you all have prepared. We urinate more in summer. Sweat glands are more active in summer. So we should not urinate more in summer because summer may what happens it is we are sweating. So water loss is high. So we tend to conserve water by less urination. So first statement is false. Sweat glands are more active in summer. This is true. So A is false and R is true. Moving to the next. Rahul inserted a hairpin into his right ear to remove the wax. He felt a sudden sharp pain with loss of hearing. So what did he do? He ruptured his tympanic membrane or the eardrum. So he ruptured his eardrum. Okay. Vestibule he could not reach. It is outer ear ka eardrum only. Cornea and pinna ne. That is wrong. Cornea is in the eye. All food chain begins with herbivores. That is wrong. All food chain begins with a producer. Green plants are heterotrophs. This is also wrong. Green plants are autotrophic. So both the statements are false here. Next one. A biology teacher asks her students to give two examples of vestigial organs. Okay. So let us mark the vestigial organs first. Raj said wisdom teeth. It is a vestigial organ. And pinna, correct. Body hair and large intestine. Large intestine, body hair, both. Body hair can be vestigial, but it serves a function, okay? Little bit of functions. Then large intestine is very important organ. So Sonu is wrong. Lata said vermiform appendix, that is right, and wisdom tooth, that is also right. Pinna is, though it is not very functional in human beings, ossicles are very useful, that is ear ossicles. So, who are Raj and Lata? Where is Raj and Lata? You can see C option is the right answer. During practical exam, a plant cell is in a particular solution was placed under a compound microscope. Now you can see this plant is actually plasmolysed, right? Students were told to observe the cell and name the tonicity of the solution, mention the process that occurred in the cell. Now here you can see that the plasma membrane has totally shrinked. That means hypertonic solution. The cell is placed in a hypertonic solution and exoosmosis has taken place. Okay, exoosmosis has taken place. That is why the cell has shrinked totally. All the water from the cell has gone out. And since cell wall is freely permeable, so the place between the plasma membrane and the cell wall is filled with hypertonic solution. So here you can say that this part, this fluid which is present here is hypertonic solution. Okay, is hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution because the cell wall is freely permeable. Okay, and here the plasmolysed cell, this is a plasmolysed cell which has shown exoosmosis. This is actually the plasmolysed cell. Understood? This is the answer is hypertonic and exoosmosis. Moving to the next. Name the following. Okay. Now the basic unit of heredity. What is the basic unit of heredity? It is genes. Okay. The undesirable change in the environment leading to its deterioration. Any that is pollution, right? The structure that connects placenta and human fetus. Chalo, tell me the answer. Which structure connects the placenta and the human fetus? It is umbilical cord. The statistical study of human population. Demography. The nitrogenous base that pairs with adenine is thymine. Okay, I hope you understood the answer. Correct. Moving to the next. Given below is the transverse section of the spinal cord. Read the information below and fill in the blanks. Okay. The spinal cord extends from the medulla oblongata of the brain and runs down through the whole length of the vertebral column. The spinal cord is covered by the meninges. It conducts impulses from the skin and the muscles to the brain. It also conducts impulse from the brain to the muscle of the trunk and the limbs. Okay, this is so okay question. Now, next one, the spinal cord is a part of dash nervous system. Do not write CNS because nervous system is already given. You have to write central nervous system. The gray matter in the picture given consists of. Now, gray matter is, what is the gray matter? And what is white matter? Chris Gales, I remember like that. Chris Gales, Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh is what? Cyton and gray matter. So it contains cyton, while the white matter contains the axon. The spinal cord is concerned with the reflex actions. Okay? Reflex actions. Below the neck, dash is the bony structure that protects the spinal cord, the vertebral column. Right? Vertebral column. Vertebral column. Okay? This is your answer. I hope the answers are okay. Any doubt, put it in the comment section. I may also be wrong, children, okay? Because I'm solving so many papers together, there are chances that I may go wrong. So you are there to find out the mistake and put it in the comment section. That will make me happy that my children are actually understanding the concept so well that they can find out the mistakes. Okay, so error is to human, right? I'm also human. So there are chances of getting errors. So you just correct if you think I'm wrong. I'll justify the answer in the comment section. Now arrange and rewrite the terms in each group in the correct order so as to be in a logical sequence, beginning with the term that is underlined. Now here the term which is underlined is auxin. After auxin, what happens? The positive phototropism, cell elongation, and apical meristem. So what will be the first one? First one is given as auxin. Okay. Auxin helps in cell elongation. Okay. Where? In the apical meristem. And that apical meristem will show positive phototropism. This is according to me. If you have some other answer, put it in the comment section. Next one is kidney. Then you have the ureter. Then you have the urinary bladder. And then you have the urethra through which the urine comes out. Then you have auditory canal. Auditory canal, that is in the outer ear. Then go to the inner ear, incus malleus steps, the malleus. Then you have stapes. And the inner ear, that is your organ of Corti. Chromatin fibers. Chromatin fibers are present in the nucleus. Okay. Then you have cytoplasm. So we are moving from the nucleus to the outside of the cell. Then you have the cell membrane, and finally you have the cell wall. You understood the logic? It's moving from the center to the outside of the cell. Then you have inferior vena cava. From the inferior vena cava, the blood goes into the right auricle. From the right auricle, it goes to the left or ventricle, right ventricle to pulmonary artery to the lungs for the process of purification of the blood. That is oxygenation of the blood, not purification. I'm so sorry. Oxygenation of the blood. So this is the logical sequence question, right? Moving to the next. Read the explanation given below and name the structure. The largest gland in the human body, that is given as liver. Okay. Food conducting tissue. Food, phloem. Okay. So the answer is phloem. A cell formed by the fusion of gametes. Which cell is formed by the fusion of gametes? Zygote. Zygote. The smallest blood vessel in the human body. What is the smallest blood vessels? It is the capillaries. Right? It is the capillaries. The tubular passage that connects the pharynx to the middle ear. Now, there was one more question, that which part of the, what is the other opening for the eustachian tube? So that is pharynx. So here, eustachian tube. Eustachian tube. Okay. Spelling is right. Eustachian tube. Okay. The opening on the bark of the trees through which transpiration occurs or diffusion of gases occurs. That is so good. Question lenses. Okay. So this is your, we are going to finish with the section 1. Right? Then, yes, find the cross section. F6 is given as example. Now, children, they have been given examples since last 2 years. So there are chances that this year they may not give you the examples. If given, fine. But if it is not given, do not worry. And if it is given, do not rewrite it. You have 5-mark questions, so write 5 answers only. So what is A? Now here, see, A is the optic nerve. So optic nerve helps in the transmission of the nerve impulse. Okay, so optic nerve helps in the transmission of the nerve impulse. Correct? A5. Then you have B. What is B? B is the vitreous fluid. So vitreous fluid, what it does, it protects retina, alters the shape of the lens, regulates, protects retina. Okay. Then you have C. What is C doing? C is the, I think it is the suspensory ligament, right? It is regulates the size of the lens. C alters the shape of the lens, right? What is D? What is D? D is the opening through which that is the aqueous humor. So aqueous humor keeps the lens moist, right? And what is E? E is regulating the size of the pupil. Okay? Regulating the size of the pupil. Now, children, there is some, in the paper, the clarity of, say, C. C is, I think C is iris. Okay? C is the iris. So, pupil size regulation is done by C. C and E, there was a confusion. So, regulates the size of the pupil is basically C, that is iris. And your blue is missing. So, here alters the shape of the lens is the suspensory ligament, that is E. Okay, this is correct. I can see the image. Okay. Now, moving to the next. You can take a screenshot if you want. Otherwise, now, yes, explain the term active transport. Active transport is what? When you have the movement of molecules. I'm not writing the complete definition, but the keywords: movement of molecules from the region of lower concentration, concentration to the higher concentration by spending energy slash ATP. It is called the active transport. Okay. Concentration by spending energy or ATP. It is called active transport. Understood? Easy? Name the structure through which transpiration and guttation occurs in the plant. Now, this is 2 marks. 2 marks is given to you. So, here transpiration occurs through what? So, for transpiration, you're going to write stomata, lenticels, and cuticles. All the three you'll write because there are three types of transpiration. But when guttation occurs, it occurs through hydrathodes. Kindly draw the T table and then write the answers. Okay. Then how does the rate of transpiration differ when there is high humidity? High humidity, high temperature and high humidity. So rate of transpiration increases when there is high temperature and rate of transpiration decreases when there is high humidity. Okay. Write the overall chemical reaction of photosynthesis. Now, photosynthesis reaction, you should write 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 12 molecules of water. Now, children, I cannot write so well, but I hope this one already a photosynthesis video is there. So you can have a look. You have to write this, okay? On the arrow, you have to write sunlight and you have to write chlorophyll, okay? Then you have the formation of C6, H12 and O6. H12 and O6 plus 6 molecules of water and 6 molecules of oxygen. Okay, 6 molecules of water and 6 molecules of oxygen. This is the complete reaction for 2 marks. Now, if you write sunlight and chlorophyll, then only you get full 2 marks. Otherwise, there is no marks for this question. Understood? Moving to the next. And sunlight and chlorophyll is very important. Now, children, if you understand the marking scheme for this, you have to write this part. Then you get 1 mark. And again, you have to write this part from this entire complete part for 1 mark. So, if sunlight and chlorophyll is missing, basically you don't get any marks. Understood? Now, moving to the next. Sam observed a slide containing the lower epidermis of the leaf. Sam observed a slide containing the lower epidermis of the leaf. Under the microscope, a number of tiny openings between the epidermal cells were shown in the picture. So you can see here. What are these small cells? These are the stomata. So what is the question now? The question is, what are these tiny openings called? These tiny openings are called stomata. Stomata. Name the cells that regulates opening and closing. That is guard cells. Which ion is responsible for the opening and closing of the openings? Now here, which ion they have asked. So we have studied about potassium ion theory. So here, potassium ion is the answer. Potassium ion. Understood? This 3 marks is in your pocket. Moving to the next. Why is adrenaline called an emergency hormone? Because it is released during the stress time. Why it is? Because it is released during the stress time. Okay? Adrenaline is released during the stress during the stress which increases the breathing rate and heartbeat. Okay? So that is why, since it is released during the stress, it is called the emergency hormone during the emergency time when you need it. What is the full form of observation? ADH. ADH is anti-diuretic hormone. Anti-diuretic hormone. Give an example of a diuretic substance. What can be a diuretic substance? Diuretic matlab after taking this substance, you tend to pass out dilute urine. So anything which has higher content of water, generally alcohol. Alcohol is a diuretic. Alcohol, coffee. Caffeine is also diuretic. We tend to urinate more when we consume these substances. Mention the significance of the following minerals in our food. Iodine helps in the Synthesis of, who can tell me? Synthesis of what? Synthesis of thyroxine hormone. Thyroxine needs um, iodine. Magnesium for green plants helps in the synthesis of chlorophyll. Helps in the synthesis of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll contains magnesium in the center. Like your hemoglobin contains iron, um, green chlorophyll contains magnesium. Two objectives of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Now, children, this question is so, what to say, is asked so frequently, and you tend to do the mistake of writing about pollution and all. There is no pollution in Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. You have to talk about waste management and segregation, clean streets, and ODF, that is open defecation free India. So, main objective was to have washrooms and latrines in all the rural areas so that open defecation can be totally avoided, and to keep the city clean by proper waste management. So any two objectives you could write. Draw a neat label diagram of a root hair. The link for the drawing of the root hair is given in the description. You can see how to draw a root hair and try to draw it neatly. Show distinct parts: vacuole, nucleus, root hair. It's a cellular extension. So the link is given in the description. You can see there. Mention one characteristics of the root for absorbing water from the soil. Yes. Now, what is the root? It has numerous root hairs, which helps in increasing the surface area for absorption. Moreover, the cell sap concentration is higher as compared to that of soil, so water tends to move inside the cell as it moves from hypotonic to hypertonic solution. What is parthenocarpy? Parthenocarpy is formation of fruit without fertilization. Formation of fruit without fertilization. Without fertilization. Okay. Give one example of a parthenocarpic fruit. It can be grapes, apples, guavas, watermelon, anything. Okay, which does not have seed. You can write seedless grapes, like that you can write. Differentiate between micturition. Micturition is passing out urine. Passing out urine. And parturition is delivery of the full term fetus. Delivery of the full grown fetus after the gestation period. Okay, fetus after the gestation, that is gestation period. Okay, understood? So, period. Moving to the next, two function of lymph. What is the function of lymph? Tell me. It is the site for WBCs. So you can write fight against infections, fight against infection, and maintains blood volume, and what else? Helps in WBC maturation, helps in WBC's maturation. Okay, not synthesis but maturation. Okay, so this is your lymph. Then study the picture here. You can see here the fish is entangled in some plastic. How does water get polluted? So you can have household detergents, any one, okay? Household detergents. Then you can have sewage. You can have sewage, industrial waste, industrial waste. Then you can have oil spills, thermal pollution, anything. What is the effect of water pollution on human life? It can cause many diseases, right? It can cause diseases. cause diseases like cholera, typhoid, dysentery, right? This is the dysentery. This is the what is the effect of pollution? Then mention one control to stop pollution in the water bodies. Treatment, waste treatment before disposal, waste treatment before disposal in water. Disposal in water is one of the good way. And that's it. You can write anything of your choice. It should be apt, but yes. Mendel's law of segregation, that is reappearance of a recessive trait in the F2 generation. So law of segregation is what? Out of the two pair of the alleles, each allele segregate themselves independently into the gametes without influencing each other. Here we are talking about only one character. So write the exact definition as it is given. Okay. What are tropic hormones? Tropic hormones are the hormones released by pituitary which regulates and controls the other glands. Like adrenocorticotropic hormone, it regulates the release of hormone from the adrenal cortex. These are tropic hormones. What differentiate between the term phenotype and genotype? Phenotype is the physical appearance of an organism, and genotype is the genetic constitution. Sorry, genotype genotype is the genetic constitution of an organism. Okay. What is the significance of testes being placed in the scrotal sac? Now the temperature of the body is high for the development of sperm, development and maturation of the sperm. That is the reason why testis is placed in scrotal sac, which is outside the human body. Hence the temperature is little bit lower, 2 to 3 degree lower than the body temperature. Hence the sperm maturation can take place. Draw a neat label diagram of the human sperm. The link for the human sperm diagram is given in the description. And in this diagram, you should draw the proper head, the nucleus, the acrosome, the middle piece, that is the neck, where you have mitochondria, and you have the axial filament or the tail of the sperm. Write the scientific name of the pea plant. Now here, children, Pisum sativum, it has to be written and it has to be underlined. So if you are writing it, the spelling should be correct. Pisum sativum, right? This is the spelling. If it is handwritten, so you have to underline both the terms. Otherwise, no marks for the scientific names. Okay. Mention the surgical method of contraception in men. Now, in men, you have vasectomy, that is, vas deferens is cut and ligated. And in female, you have got tubectomy, that is, fallopian tube is cut and ligated, tubectomy. Okay, harmful effect of noise pollution, two harmful effects. One is it increases stress, it affects your nervous system, you do not get proper sleep, it leads to deafness. That's it, you can write that much. Which part of the plant exhibit which part of the plant exhibit negative geotropism? Now, negative geotropism, matlab, negative is against gravity, so it is shoot. And positive hydrotropism, that is towards the water, that is root. Okay. So next. So Kathak is an Indian classical dance which involves lots of spinning by the dancers. Now, here the question is about balancing. The learner of this dance experiences dizziness in the beginning while spinning. Name the part of the membranous labyrinth responsible for dizziness. Now, it is your membranous labyrinth. Which one? That is your semicircular canal. Semicircular canal. Because this is for your dynamic balance. Right. Give a suitable reason for an answer. What will be the reason? There is a fluid present in the semicircular canal. The fluid continues to spin even after the dancer stops. Even after the dancer stops. And this creates confusion. So that helps in, that makes that leads to dizziness. Mention the nerve that carries the impulse for the dizziness to the brain. Now here it should be auditory nerve. In the auditory nerve, it is the vestibular nerve. So here name the nerve, you can write auditory nerve, the same nerve, okay? Auditory nerve, okay? Auditory nerve mein you have the vestibular nerve. Nerve. Okay, so write this way, the main nerve and then the branch. How does transpiration helps in the uptake of water from the soil? Transpiration creates a suction pressure which helps in the suction of water from the root. And that because of the cohesive force and the adhesive force, there's the continuous flow of water. So transpiration helps in suction of the water from the root. Given below are the two statements which are incorrect. Rewrite the correct statement. Freshwater fish, when placed in hypertonic solution, absorbs water and burst. Now, freshwater fish, when placed in hypertonic solution, will lose water, not absorb water. Right? So, make this hypotonic. Freshwater fish, when placed in hypertonic solution, it should be hypotonic. Okay, it should be hypotonic. That is why water will move in, no? Hypotonic. Try to change least number of words, okay? Do not change the entire sentence. Less number of. So hypotonic salt. Hypotonic salt solution. Seminiferous tubules secretes testosterone. Now here, seminiferous tubules does not secrete testosterone. It is the Leydig cells. Leydig cells or the interstitial cells. Okay, Leydig cells or the interstitial cells. Leydig cells or the interstitial cells secretes this one. So here the wrong word is seminiferous tubule. During mitosis, what is the position of the chromatids? During metaphase, it is aligned in the center, on the equatorial plane. Center on the equatorial plane, equatorial plane, or you can say metaphase plate. Okay, equatorial plate, okay, or metaphase plate, whatever you can call it. And anaphase, they are towards the pole, okay. So this is your third answer. Yes, and then Chris was watching the display of the firework in the sky. Trace the path of the light. Now again you have to trace the path here. The light will first, tell me, fovea will be the last, right? Lens, conjunctiva, cornea, pupil. So conjunctiva, then you have the cornea, then you have the pupil, then you have the lens. This is the fourth one. And then you have the lens, and last where you have the yellow spot, that is the fovea. Name the nerve that carries the impulse of vision, that is your optic nerve. That is your optic nerve. Right? Moving, draw a neat label diagram of the Malpighian capsule. Now this diagram is already been given. Here also you have to have the Bowman's capsule, right? The Bowman's capsule, and you have a larger efferent arteriole and a thinner efferent arteriole. This is very important to show. Otherwise, marks you will not get. So you should have a broader afferent arteriole through which the blood enters, and you have a thinner efferent arteriole through which the blood exits. This is the glomerulus, the Bowman's capsule, and the PCT. Label the diagram correctly, you get full marks for your drawing if you can show the structural difference of afferent and the efferent arteriole. So with this, I think we are done. Yes. So we are done with the questions of the specimen paper of 2025. I hope, let me know how much you have scored after solving the paper. How much you have scored after solving the paper. Put it in the comment section. And thank you for being in touch with BioWise with Achal. Happy learning and keep studying, children. Thank you.